Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. We appreciate everybody taking time to connect with us and to chat a little bit about DPS School Choice program and how our parents can learn more how they can exercise and receive support as they're thinking about the process of connecting with different schools. My name is Amber Swirl, and I am the partner of community advocacy and partnerships with Rooted. And this evening, we're going to be chatting with some folks from DPS and also from our community members to share their personal experience and how they have been exercising choice or supporting parents through the process of choice system. So super excited to be here again. Wanted to do a quick reminder that the school choice window closes on February 14th at 4 p.m. So this is kind of like the last minute run around to get your applications in and to get information and support if you need it through DPS or through the supports that are offered at the schools. If you want to keep informed about upcoming events for Rooted, please sign up. We have our newsletter that goes out and also our Facebook page. Really excited again to be here with you all. I'm going to take a second to just do quick introductions to our panelists. So starting with Lori and then with Bunny.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Premer. I'm the Director of Enrollment Services for DPS. We can help with all things school choice related, my office and I, and we are very, very happy to help and have your visits and your phone calls. So please reach out if you have any specific to you questions. We're always happy to help, and hopefully we'll be able to share some information here.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate you being here tonight. Bonnie?
Yeah, hi, can you guys hear me? I just put on my AirPods. It's like a cool thing to do while you're in middle school. Hey, hi, my name is Bonnie Sanchez. I represent the Southwest area. I work with the Beacon Zone schools, Kepner and Grant Beacon Middle School. And I'm also part of the community in the Southwest. And just wanted to see, have a conversation about how to get support for the school of choice, and especially on the underrepresented communities of color and down in the Southwest. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for being here and for all the work that you do in the Southwest. Lori, let's have a quick conversation. Can you share with us what is school choice?
So the state of Colorado is a school choice open enrollment state, meaning there's a state law that says that all school districts, all public schools need to have a way for students who aren't zoned to that school to be able to have additional students enroll if they have extra seats available. So in DPS, that is called school choice. Round 1 is what's currently open. It is a one-stop shop for every single school in DPS, charter schools, innovation schools. Every single school uses the same application and the same timeline. So parents go in and they fill out their applications. They can choose up to 12 choices, but you do not have to choose 12. 12 is basically our way of making it unlimited. Choose as many as are really right for your family. And then we sort of put it all in a big mixing bowl and we run a lottery that has priorities in it. So siblings will get in before non-siblings, for instance. And then within those priority groups, kids will be ranked by lottery number. And we will admit as many students as we can, as we have seats for a student's most highly preferred school. There's no benefit to listing something as number 1 if it's truly not your number 1 choice. We want you to please rank according to your heart, because if you don't get into your number 1 school, you're going to your number 2 school, and your chances of getting into that school are again based on your priority group, sibling, or you have a parent who works there, or you're in the neighborhood, and then the lottery number. It is not based on where you ranked the school. There aren't additional cookies for ranking it high or demerits for ranking it low. So rank according to your heart. If you need personalized help, which we find that people frequently do, there are all sorts of scenarios and questions that people have all across Denver. We are very, very happy to help. We love having visits to our enrollment centers, and we love having phone calls. We also can submit your application for you. So you're welcome to go to our site and submit it yourself in your leisure and edit it if you need to, and come back to it, so long as you get it submitted by February 14th at 4 p.m. But if you don't want to, if you want some additional help in submitting that, we are very, very happy to do that for you. Our school choice hotline is probably the best place to get some information and to get that help. And that is 720-423-3493. We answer it in English and Spanish, but we can support in additional languages through the DPS translations line. And we answer it every day between 8:30 and 4 every day that DPS is open. So we're not there on snow days, but otherwise we're here to help and put in your applications.
Thank you so much. Appreciate kind of like the rundown on all of the services that you guys are providing for families and for parents as they're navigating the choice process. We know that sometimes especially for some of our monolingual speaking families or our bilingual families, it could be a little tricky with the computer and filling out the application. So can you share a little bit more how your team is being flexible and supporting families through the process?
Sure. It was important to us as we were building our school choice application website that everyone could access it regardless of whether they were comfortable with computers or not. And so it's you can use your smartphone. It's smartphone enabled. So everything that it can do on a desktop, it can do on your smartphone. But B, every single school in all of DPS has someone who can enter your application for you. And then my team has lots and lots of people who can enter your application for you. And you just need to call us and we'll look up your student and you'll give us your ranked list of numbers and we will submit and you'll get a confirmation text and or email and you're good to go. So we hope that there are a lot of people around DPS who can assist families no matter how comfortable they are with websites.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that is important to remind our families and our parents and our community that it might be a little bit challenging if you're not familiar with computers or maybe the language barriers, but DPS is definitely using creative ways to support families to fill out the application. So please contact them directly if you want your application to be done over the phone. Thank you so much, Lori. Again, we are going to put the resources on our chat. So you will see there the link to be able to see the phone number, but also the choice website that highlights the two centers where families can come in person if they choose to, or if you need some more one-on-one individualized assistance, call the number to file the application over the phone. Thank you so much, Larry. Appreciate that. I want to share a little bit before I pass it to Bonnie, our own household. We exercise choice here. I have my two stepdaughters that are going to outside of our neighborhood school just because we felt that we wanted a school that provided Spanish and they don't speak Spanish. So that's something that was very close and important for us as a family. And I'm very appreciative of the choice system to be able to allow us to do our research. We went and did the site visit and figured out that other school might have been the best school for them and that fitted the needs that our family needed. So we went ahead and did the application and selected our 3 schools. And the process was fairly easy and the communication as well. I remember that I had a little bit of an issue like logging in, but I was able to call and got my thing reset. So it's one of those things that I appreciate, kind of like the proactivity and being on top of it to make sure that our family wasn't delayed or that we missed the window, whatever the case might have been. So as a parent, I'm really pleased with choice and being able to pick the best school that fits the needs of our students. Awesome. Bonnie, let's chat now. Tell us a little bit about yourself and share also kind of like your passion for the work that you do in the community.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a parent at DPS. I do have a little one on Brian Webster. The school choice last year was like a little bit crazy to kind of start with how that navigate that world. But I think that my wife is pretty good at being on top of things and doing a bunch of research on the schools and stuff, especially when you want to have like a school that you particularly want, right? Like a multilingual, diversity, focus on the community and students. And that's where I'm at too. I've been serving the Southwest community for quite a bit. My role now for 2 years has been a community liaison. I partner with local organizations about not just providing fresh food for our family in the Southwest. As you know, there is a desert area where there's not a lot of fresh food. It's not a lot of groceries, and so I think that's one of my biggest priorities to how to. During COVID, we were trying to figure out how do we get this food for the families, right? Especially with a crisis like that, and not just the crisis has always been an issue in our community. So that's one thing I do. I also help a lot of the resources with families. That comes with school choice too. Of course, they call me to text me and they're like, hey, I can't get in. And sometimes I'm like trying to figure out what else I can do for the community. So I'm in my house and I have my little ones here too. So what I do, I'm also doing a lot of the advocacy work in the community, how to support the parents and students have their voice in our school, and not just the school, but how do we get the need that we have on our Southwest families and kids. And so I do a bunch of stuff. I do a bunch of collaboration with a lot of organizations, nonprofit who definitely focus on the grassroots of the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's all good. We are working remote parents. We have the kiddos around that really shows and demonstrate your passion for wanting to share the resources and information to the community, taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. So thank you. Can you share what advices or tips you give to parents that are trying to navigate school choice? Since you're doing it individually, one-on-one, and supporting to troubleshoot, what are some of the advices or tips that you can give them?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, Amber. I think it's very critical about asking some of the families that we work with, especially the immigrant community, Latinx community. I think it's hard for them to know what's going on. A lot of the kids just want to go I work with middle school going to high school, and so a lot of them just want to go where their friends are going. And so what I tell them, listen, we got 180 days to go in school, and the other 180, you can spend time with them. You can spend time with your girlfriend, your friend, wherever that is. But you have to choose a school that's like it's focused on what your needs are. If you want to do mechanical engineer or concurrent enrollment, what schools offer what and why is it and a lot of the if you're the families, they really don't know what to do or say unless you tell them, hey, I think it's a good fit because Juanito is good at math and he's a gifted and talented. I think he would thrive at DCSD, where they focus on that, or after they go to Lincoln for 2 years, they can start taking credit classes, and here's why: because once you finish at least high school, you'll be 2 years in your college career, and that saves you a lot of money. And so those are the advice that I will tell the parents. A lot of the parents don't know. Hey, listen, I think a lot of it has to do with transportation. A lot of them I have to tell them, listen, DPS doesn't really provide a lot of transportation when it comes to high school. But it does. And middle school is a little bit different. But high school, unless you have, an IEP or a specific program, the school have to choose the end, and that's on DPS. But normally you have to take the RTD or trying to figure out a friend or neighbor can, drive you to the same school that the other kid's going to. I think those are the big ones. And the other one is just trying to figure out parents. Like, I don't know. A lot of the parents who are immigrants to this country, and a lot of them do maybe finish middle school if they're lucky enough to finish it. So a lot of them don't know about what college or high school is all about. I mean, they heard about the word, but they're not really familiar about what happens. And there's more independency. And do you like a bigger school versus a small school, right? Mr. Bourne is not going to chase you around to come to school every day, or hey, I'm going to check with you. Once you go to South or Lincoln, it's a big number of kids, and you probably need if you're vocal, you probably get the support. If you're not, how do you manage that, right? And so especially the social piece of youth that are not really, they need that support. So that's the advice I give them, the families. And also one thing that I is very focused on, it's this is only a path to their lives, right? After high school, they choose to do what they need to do. They're becoming an adult, whether they're ready or not. But how do we give them those tools, and what school is going to give them that tools that they need to be thriving through our community and city of Denver?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that is so vital to inform parents to really understand what their needs for their student is, and that there are schools that are very specialized on specific programs and services that can benefit, whatever the student pathway might be, or even on the individual level. You were talking about the social emotional. There are some schools that are smaller and some families like that. There are some other schools that are bigger and some kiddos like that if they're more social and outgoing. But I think that that's amazing that you're having those conversations and incentivizing families to really look into what is best for their student. Along those lines, talking about, you tell them about the things that they should consider, but what questions should the families be asking when they're looking for schools? What are some of the things that you can share with us that you will highly recommend families to ask?
Yeah, if you're talking about doing a visit or just like putting questions in their hair about what would be important for me to know about the kids or the dynamic of school, one of the things has to be with a lot of has to do with school culture. Are they focusing on the student needs? What are their what are the dropout rates? What are the numbers that they kids have an IP or the BA? Those are the big questions that I would ask, some of the schools. The other thing is also like how well connected you are, right? Now, if you just, heard about a neighbor like, oh, this is a good school, you should go check it out. In the Southwest, there's half and half about in the community about Lincoln, right? Like, oh, it's not a good school. And other parents like, well, like it's all about the kids. If my kid's gonna do thriving anywhere I send them, then that shouldn't be a problem, right? So I think that those are the things is different once you experience it. And I told a lot of the parents, like, just go do a visit, just walk in and just a feeling about how you feel welcome and do you mentor your kid feeling the same when you feel when you come in, right? I think that's a big factor when it comes to do of school choosing. I myself with experience with Brian Webster and we were doing another school and we were uh, I keep forgetting the name of the other school we were choosing to, but Brian Webster was very community and I felt like the culture was there and I was like, yeah, I can see my kid being here. They're very welcoming, they're very supportive. So those are the things that I would definitely ask the parents, how do they feel when they walk in school, right? Have you talked to one of the deans? Have the principals say hi to you, right? Those are the big things because when it comes to not just issue academically or socially, but just in general, right? How do you provide more support to your kids? My focus is also from bringing more gap between the school and the community, right? And a lot of it has to do with the staff. A lot of it has to do with how the staff and the culture is within the community and are they really reaching out to the families, right? Are you really doing home visits versus parents coming into you when there's trouble, right? And I think it has to be a balance. I think that's very important for the families to kind of ask about those questions, and especially if a family really loves to be involved. Like, what are the things that they like to do? What are the things they want to see in the school, right? Do they want to see more basketball teams? Do they want to see more sport teams, right? And or sport like program versus versus more academic support, right? Versus more social, right? And not every school might have everything, but those are the things that you really want to ask yourself. What do they need from my kids and how can I support the school as much as they're trying to support my kid to, be central youth focused, right? Be centered student focused. I think that's one of the biggest questions that I will definitely advise some of the parents to start thinking about.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I can share on a personal level, we did those things, right? We went to the school and did a site visit and sat down and actually talked to the second grade teacher. And we had this conversation about, we're talking about like the use phonics to teach the kiddos how to read because that's something important in their family and what type of programs and activities do they have after school. So it really depends on what the family needs, but I also highly recommend for families to do those site visits. You can call the school and do a school tour and they will walk you through the process on the things that they offer and you can actually see the inside of the building. And right, if you're going to send your kid out there, you might want to know where the bathroom is. So that way you can tell them and they can feel more comfortable. So those little things, along with everything else that you share, it's definitely important. Lori, one last plug. Anything else that you want to share with our community as far as choice supports that you guys are providing and maybe share the number again?
I definitely agree with Bonnie about like walking into the school, and Amber, you said the same thing. It's so important to figure out the vibe of the school, and so many parents, there isn't, unlimited time and energy to do school visits. We find a lot of parents are choicing into schools that they haven't been to, and they can sometimes really regret that. So please go into the school. They have tons of open houses this time of year and they want to see you. Find out what that school is all about. So again, we are here and happy to connect with you in person. If you'd like to walk into our 2 enrollment centers, we have one in the Southwest in an elementary school called CMS, and then one in the far northeast in the EV Dennis campus. And our hotline is 720-423-3493. We answer in English and in Spanish every day. The DPS is open from 8:30 to 4. That's also our hours that our centers are open. But if people need help in other languages, we use the DPS translations line. So we're very happy to help all of our DPS families. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We hire additional people this time of year. So we really, really want you to reach out if you have questions. It's better to get those questions answered than to do something that you had questions about and then you end up regretting. We're very, very happy to help now.
Thank you so much, Laura, for being here with us. And Bonnie,
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. One last second plug, Bonnie.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for saying that. Like I do believe that you guys are very quick to fix the problem. I had a quick last week, there was a parent who couldn't log in for some reason. We called the hotline and they're like, oh, we can just do it for you. I'm like, oh, good. And so like, and I know a lot of the parents, I do send them to CMS by Louisiana and Lowell. They're very helpful, and the parents do end up saying, hey, I got it figured out. Thank you so much. I think that I definitely agree with everybody, you know, with just go visit. There's a catalog in Spanish and other language you can look at, and just look at it if you're not really familiar with technology, how to find schools. Just look at the percentage, and also call the principal or be like, hey, I just want to do a home visit or a school visit very quick. I was wanting to see what's going on. Either do it in the morning while you drop off some of the kids around in your neighborhood and go to, say, Lincoln, and just reach out for a connection at your school and be like, hey, I just want to see what you think, because a lot of parents in South Florida do ask a lot of the teachers, like, I'll trust the teacher, right? They're the experts. They should, tell me where to go, where to send my kids. I just want to make sure that they get a good education, right? And for my parents, getting education is go to school and learn how to read and write, right? And so I think it's important for a lot of underrepresented communities about, just go and talk to your neighbor and go and just be, hey, I'm here to phone visit. This is not the right time, but I wanted to see what you guys got to offer for the school, for the students that I'm trying to get my kid here to your school.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you both for being here with us tonight. We are out of time. Those 25 minutes went up super quick. Lots of information. So please, for our community, our parents, our families, check out on the chat. You have the resources there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Lori at DPS. If you're in the Southwest with the Beacon Network, reach out to Bonnie as well. Thank you again, you all, for being here. Stay tuned for Rooted social media platform and our e-newsletter. We have announcements, and we do this Facebook info sessions every so often. Appreciate everyone for being here tonight. And it is our pleasure to bring this information to you. Please reach out if you have any question. Thank you and have a great day.